It's been a really busy week for session bass playing. I think the Fiverr algorithm is really smiling on me. Lots of really cool requests and from projects that I really want to be involved in. So I'm definitely putting out the right information. I'm grateful for that. And when I think of all of this extra work coming in, I think of Belazier Media Group that initially had my first few orders and placed with me and coming back as repeat customers. So shout out to Kenny Belazier representing them. Great to work with you again at some point, but I think your initial orders has helped me to build my profile on Fiverr to attract more business. So I'm really appreciative of that. So nice one for that, mate. And in between doing all of that session stuff, it's got me thinking, and I needed to challenge an assumption I had about myself. For whatever reason, not too sure where the thought comes from, I was always of the thinking that I'm a person that likes to work on one task at a time, in that I've got something to do, minimize it to just one thing I've got to do and just to put all of my focus on that and work on that. I don't know where this assumption came from, but I thought that's what I was like. But the past few weeks, and especially this week, I've realized that assumption is not true. Actually, and yes, I talk a lot about time management in a previous post I put around doing a full-time business on part-time hours, but I actually really like and thrive off doing lots of different things, which is a new thing at the age of 37 that I've learned about myself. And I think there's a few benefits to that of liking to do lots of different things. The first one for me is that all of these different things I'm doing inform each other. I've talked a lot about a lot of session work from Fiverr coming through. So that's one part of what I do. And then the other part of what I'm doing is through Shakeworks of creating sample packs to sell to producers. What I'm finding is the bass lines that I'm doing for remote work is informing the sample packs that I'm doing, because based on the feedback from the remote session work of my bass lines, I'm thinking, producers and songwriters want this sort of thing. So let me incorporate this into the actual digital products that I'm selling. And that's really been helpful to get that real-time feedback just for another arm of my business. I'm being paid to learn as well as give them something that they need. So that two-way benefit has been really helpful to me. Another part of doing everything and doing lots of different things is that I understand how they're all related to each other. So, for example, the podcast that I'm doing through Shakeworks of different guests, the insights that I'm getting from that are actually helping me with my custom production work of giving me ideas. And they're also informing how I create the snippets for the podcast. As I'm thinking I've got long form content, how do I create shorter forms of that which capture what the episode is about, but are self-contained bits of information that people can learn from. And I'm learning that from being involved in lots of different things. And that's really, really beneficial and is quite a lot of fun to be involved in. And the third point being that it gives me a good opportunity to scale because I've been doing lots of different things. I talked about previously of getting some help of messaging producers to offer a sample pack for free, as well as somebody to help me edit snippets of a podcast. Now, I've been doing those tasks, so with that I can break down the actual practicality of what they consist of to ensure that the instructions are clear and that the outcomes are the best they possibly can be. And that all comes from actually doing it myself, which is doing a range of things, so it just helps me to have a better understanding of everything. And one of the key points as well is that I've learned, especially this week, is that it energizes me and it inspires other things. I mentioned previously that I've been getting involved in these sample flip challenges with the Koala app, which I've had for a few years, but now I've decided to contribute my weekly sample flips because they're a lot of fun. And what I'm finding is that doing those weekly sample flips is getting me back into producer mode. It's helping to inform the custom production that I'm doing. Then also, it's just a fun outlet. It's just fun. I'm just making it just to share with people. And with that, I'm finding it's just a great variation to everything else that I'm doing, which is energizing and and gives me and perks me up to do other things that I need to do. Probably the last point is there's the immediate challenge, which is probably the reason why I thought that I was a focus on one person at a time, because I pride myself on being able to manage my time well. But one tension that I'm finding is the balance between short term and long term, in that there's been times where of balancing the short term, basically immediate priorities and generating income, where I've probably focused more on the remote session playing and custom production than the content creation and all the work related to the sample packs. So sometimes I needed to focus more on that remote work than the sample packs. In that ultimately I love doing both things, they all inform each other, but I always thought to myself from the beginning that as well as freelancing and doing things for other people and helping them with my skill set, I also want to build something that I own. And I require that DIY building something on my own is more of a long-term strategy, and the freelancing is short term. I want to balance both of those things, but I need to be careful because every now and again it tips the other way to just focusing on short term. So I've constantly need to, I joke, have meetings with myself, look at my priorities, look, am I being productive or am I just feeling busy, and what am I actually doing? That's probably one of the tensions I'm finding of doing a range of things. And that's what I've been learning this week. It's been quite a big lesson for me as I challenged my assumptions, because I always thought I was one way, as I said before, and I realised actually I like to do lots of different things. So it's been interesting to learn that about myself, and I'm learning a bit more as I'm saying this out loud, as talking is thinking. So it's been quite interesting to reflect on that. Hope you found it interesting, and yeah, I'll be back with more of these soon. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then drop us a comment to let us know about what you think about this, or what have you learned about yourself when you've been on a creative endeavor, some sort of business, and some assumption has been challenged. Or if you're listening to this, drop us a comment on Instagram or Twitter. It'd be great to hear some of your thoughts as well. So thanks for checking this out, and I'll be back again soon.